hole there. Right, so the time's finally come to clean potentially 30 years of grime off the underside of this car. I've got a nice clean suit on, as you can see, hazmat style, some degreaser in a squirty bottle. I'm going to spray degreaser on everything, agitate it with a nice stiff brush, then hose it off, and hopefully we'll get rid of all that dirt and reveal any rust that needs treating. Well, that's cleaning round one finished. Probably the worst job in the world, that. A massive amount of dirt's come off it already. So now I'm going to let it dry overnight, come back to it and see what the condition is. So you're actually joining me about a week later here. I've just about recovered from the horrors that were cleaning under that car. That job was bloody awful. Thank God the staff were on hand to help me sweep all the water out, which I'm very grateful about. But anyway, now it's all nice and dried off. It's time for me to jump under there, have a prod around and see how much rust we're going to have to deal with. Hopefully we won't find any horrors. So where the fuel tank actually bolts up to the chassis on both sides has a little bit of rust around it, but nothing through. It just seems to be underneath the seal. This chassis rail, I'm going to call it, seems to have one of the worst looking bits. So just give that a quick prod, see whether it's rusted through or if it's just on the surface. Bit of a hole there, but again, nothing that can't be fixed. So looking in the passenger side
wheel arch on the rear. We've got a little bit of rust around the front of the arch. The spring perch has a bit of rust, but again, nothing major. And also, there's a few little scabs. And it looks like somebody's previously painted some of that black stone chip paint in here, which is usually quite worrying to see, but now I've cleaned it up, it really does seem pretty solid. Another little hole there, but around it seems to be quite solid still. Around where the fuel tank lives actually is OEM finish, and it's really solid, really quite pleased with that. So you can see a lot more of this black underseal that somebody previous owners painted on it, which as I've mentioned is sometimes quite worrying. But you can see they've only painted it in the areas that they could actually get to. Where the diff lives, which is here, you can see the OE original beige stone chip finish, and really it's very good. I'm not sure why somebody went to the effort to paint this black stuff on. It's more incriminating looking than in reality. So this is the rear diff mount, and that seems really quite solid. Just a little bit of surface rust on there that I can wire wheel off. Also, this car being a 316 originally was not equipped with rear anti-roll bar. However, these do have the mountings in place for it, and these are a little bit rusty, so when I do fit a rear anti-roll bar, which I'm intending to do, I'll definitely want to clean these up and the threads. But again, it's all still there and still reasonable, just with a bit of surface rust, nothing major. Around the spare wheel well, seems surprisingly solid as well, even where it's welded up to the actual body of the car. This obviously took the brunt of the nasty black underseal that the previous owner must have painted on it. That's not come off very well with the wash, so might want to clean that up a bit more. So this E30, like many of them, has this nasty little bit of rust here. This is actually the rear battery position, so it's like a rear battery box, but only the 6-cylinder cars had the battery in the rear. So this being a 4-cylinder 316, the battery's actually up front, but it still has the box. And it seems to be a place where water ends up pooling on the inside in the boot, and then over time it eats its way through from the inside, and you end up with this nasty bit of rust. It's absolutely standard. Most E30s at this point probably have this or have had it repaired. I had a good pick away at this now, and picked away some of that underseal, and it's quite rough, but nothing that can't have a patch welded onto it and get cut out and sorted. The rest of the box seems to be in pretty sturdy condition, so I think this is absolutely fine for a repair. The rear valance seems pretty solid actually, and it's still got its original rough stone chip coating on it. The only issue really, other than the battery box side, is just around this, the cutout for the exhaust. But again, just seems like a bit of surface, nothing that won't clean off. So now we come to the driver's side rear arch, and this is the area that had the most obvious nasty bit of rust that's been there since I bought the car. So to be honest, I'm expecting to find a bit more nasty stuff within this wheel arch, because obviously if this had gone, what else would I have expected? However, this does seem as horrendous as I thought it was. Really bad. I don't really want to prod that much, but I'm going to have to. But other than that, in here, again, like the other side, quite solid. The only thing to note really is this, I think it's a routing for a fuel tank breather. That is quite rusty. This is a common one, so I'm going to need to take that off and see what's underneath there. But there's definitely some filth and rust, which I'll pop that off in just a minute. The fuel filler neck, from what I can see, seems solid. It may have even been replaced. Obviously there's a plastic cover that I need to pull out yet. There's a lot of filth dropping out there. Plastic cover I need to pull out yet to look at the condition of that further up inside. But so far, so good. Let's see what's underneath. Fastenings are a bit rusty, but they're turning. Right, this one's turning as well now. Coming out. Oh, there we go. Right, let's see what's going on under here. Oh god. Oh crap. Bloody awful. Not what you need. Should have had overalls on, but it's a bit warm. Right, so now that cover's off, it's revealed a bit more of the filler neck, which I'm pleased to report seems solid all the way up. This is a common failure point. There's a bit of rust on the hanger, but again, nothing terminal, totally fixable. Other than that, there's a bottle up here, which is some kind of header tank for something. It seems to link back to the fuel tank, which is not on at the moment, but anyone know what this is? Maybe tell me in the comments what this is. I'm just really surprised to find the tank there. Was not expecting that at all. Right, so now that plastic cover's off and revealing that filth up there, now I can go to take off this cover for some fuel tank breather pipe routing. Lord knows why they routed it through here. It was destined to rust that, but yeah, it's looking quite rough already. But let's pop it off, see what's underneath. Right, I'm expecting this to disintegrate on me, to be honest. Let's have a look. Oh god. Oops. Oh. Right, so that's looking really scruffy actually. Bloody horrible. I think that might have been, yeah, I think that might actually be a flexi hose looks like something out of Tutankhamun's crypt. So yeah, I might need to come up with something to replace that with. Hopefully it's not hiding any rust. Oh, it's hiding a lot of filth though. But despite the fact it looks like a damn good water trap, it seems like it's just filthy and it's not actually rust. Unfortunately this side seems like it's not doing too well, so I'm going to need to get the pipes out of there or protect them somehow and see the extent of this rust and see how far it goes. But it doesn't look too clever right now. Again, at the cover itself, it's definitely seen better days, and obviously there's a massive hole in it. Right, so lastly, I think I might have a bit of a prod at this, even though I've been putting it off. I know it's going to be one of the major things, so I'll do what everyone wants to see, and that's a good pull. Where's my prodigal? probably ill-advised because it's one of the places that the car's supported up by, but I can't resist. Let's have a look. Little bit of a hole, but nothing too terminal. This doesn't seem to go on as far as I feared it would. There's a funny bead of this thick seam sealer type underseal the whole way around the arch, which I'm pulling out. I don't know if that's factory. Maybe someone can tell me whether that's factory or not, or whether it's had a previous repair and had this put in just to prevent water from sitting. But the real worrying thing is the inner skin looks a bit rough around here, and joining these skins together seems like it'll be a bit complex for my amateur welding and bodywork skills and lack of knowledge. But maybe I'll learn some new tricks. Right, so I think that's about as far as I'm going to go today. It's definitely not as bad as I feared the underside of the car, which is great news, but there's a considerable amount of work to do still. And I think I'm going to have to learn a few new skills and tricks when it comes to bodywork and things like that, so I'm going to have to get clever. So I think the next step really is to get all the bits of wire brushed up so we can look at them in a bit more detail, but I don't really want to rush into doing that until I'm actually ready to weld and put a coating on things, because I don't want to be in a situation where I've taken things down to bare metal and it rusts again in the meantime. I suppose I better crack on and clean up this big mess I've made now. But thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this, give us a like, and of course, feel free to subscribe.